All right, turning back now to the Hillary Clinton email investigation. The case has had some unprecedented twist and turn, including the press conference FBI Director James Comey gave back in July when he recommended against filing charges. Remember this?
Though we did not find clear evidence that Secretary Clinton or her colleagues intended to violate laws governing the handling of classified information, there is evidence that they were extremely careless in their handling of very sensitive, highly classified information. None of these emails should have been on any kind of unclassified system, but their presence is especially concerning because all of these emails were housed on unclassified personal servers, not even supported by full-time security staff. Although there is evidence of potential violations of the statutes regarding the handling of classified information, our judgment is that no reasonable prosecutor would bring such a case.
All right, CBS News Justice reporter, my friend Paula Reed has been looking into the legal ramifications of this case. Always good to see you, Paula. You've learned that Attorney General Loretta Lynch disagreed with Director Comey's decision to alert Congress about these new emails. What have you learned?
We have to remember that Attorney General Loretta Lynch is the FBI director's boss. And she said when she found out that he was going to send this letter updating his previous testimony that the Hillary Clinton email investigation had been closed, telling them that that's actually not the case, new emails have been found and will need to be evaluated, she advised him against doing that. Now, sources say they did not have a one-on-one conversation, but her position was made clear to the FBI director that she wanted him to behave in a manner that was consistent with the Department of Justice policy, not to comment on ongoing investigations, and especially not to do so close to an election.
So, Paul, if the FBI doesn't know yet what these emails contain, why bring it to Congress now?
It is believed that FBI Director Comey wanted to be as transparent as possible in this investigation. Now, we're in uncharted territory here. There's never been a case like this. Usually the FBI does not come out and offer an explanation why they don't charge someone or updates on an investigation, and intelligent minds can disagree about whether or not the FBI director has taken appropriate steps by trying to be so transparent. Here, he believed he was amending or updating his previous testimony where he told Congress that this matter was completed, no charges would be brought, and it was essentially closed. So he felt obligated, though, to amend that now that these new emails have been discovered, even though he cannot say at this time whether or not they're significant.
So with that said, explain why this email investigation has been so unusual.
There's never been a case like this. When this first broke, when we first learned that they were investigating this private email server setup, we looked for precedent. That's what lawyers do. That's what journalists do. We're looking for comparable cases. And DeMarco, there is no comparable case. There's just no precedent for something like this, a Secretary of State having a private email setup. And so when FBI Director Comey had to sort of wrap this up, we thought, phase one, wrapping this up back in July, he took this unprecedented step. He came out and had a press conference. Now, he didn't take questions. He gave a statement, but I was there, and he explained why he was not bringing charges. They don't do that, DeMarco. They either file charges or they don't. He took more unusual steps. He went before Congress and he was very critical of Secretary Clinton. Again, she wasn't charged. It was the FBI director criticizing someone who wasn't charged. He went even further. They released evidence, more information that they had collected during this investigation, not something the FBI does. And then here again, they're sending a letter to update testimony about the investigation where no charges were brought to Congress. Unprecedented steps in a very unusual case. And as I said before, intelligent minds can disagree about whether or not this transparency really serves the FBI or whether history will see that in an effort to try to be transparent, he was actually unfair to the subject of this investigation.
All right, the newly discovered emails were found in a laptop belonging to Anthony Weiner and Huma Abedin. Explain how Clinton's private server is connected to this.
DeMarco, it's important to remember that the criminal investigation wasn't into Hillary Clinton specifically. It was into her email setup itself and anyone who used it. And that includes Huma Abedin, who had an email address that was connected to this server. Now, apparently, the FBI has found this device, received this device as part of its investigation into whether Anthony Weiner was sexting with an underage person. And they confiscated several devices, one of which we were told had thousands of emails related to this investigation. Reading between the lines, it would appear that some of these emails either were sent through the server or sent from that email address connected to the server. I know it's confusing, but the big question here is whether or not these emails are copies of something the FBI already has. We don't know. The worst case scenario is that if any of these emails actually contain classified information and were found on a device that not only belonged to Huma that was in her home, but also belonged to her estranged husband, Anthony Weiner, that is a problem, certainly politically, but also legally.
Big problem going forward.